Becoming a successful professional speaker is a journey. How do you find that first stage, the next stage, and then the bigger and better stages? I'm Lee Hayes, your host. My co-hosts and I are here to guide you to a more successful speaking career. You're listening to Path to the Main Stage podcast. Welcome to today's podcast. You've got Lee Hayes today. I do not have a co-host because today is a little bit different of an episode. I'm going to call this one Mythbusters. So being in this job, this career of managing speakers, working with speakers, I've done this for a decade now. I get a lot of questions from speakers and a lot of repeating questions, a lot of similar questions. Some are older questions and some are newer questions that you listeners, thank you listeners, have asked. And I thought it would be fun just to do an episode just answering questions instead of doing a whole episode on one topic. So there'll be a lot of topics or a lot of episodes with experts involved. Today I'm your expert. You get to listen to me and answer some of those questions or some of the statements, some of the myths. We'll see. These are in no particular order other than I've been writing them down and thought it's time to answer them. So let's just get started. I need to write a book. This is a common one that I get as a question or a statement. Lee, I've been thinking about a book. I need to write a book. Writing a book will launch my speaking career. I'm going to call that one a myth, sort of. I'm going to look at writing a book in two different ways. One is, do you need a book? You don't need a book, but you do need a thing. I call it the thing. You need something that you can point to that qualifies you as an expert. Too many speakers say, I'm going to speak, and I say, based on what? Where'd you get your experience? Or where have you proven your experience? And they'll go, it's just stuff, right? Stuff I know, or stuff I can talk about. I find that a lot of credibility comes from having, I'm doing air quotes here, written the book. And that doesn't mean you actually have to write a book, but what it means is you've proven your expertise. So you might have a book, you might be an influencer on social media, you might have a TV show, you might be on the news, you might be in the classroom, maybe you're a researcher. Maybe you are an explorer, but there's something you can point to that says, there, I'm an expert right there. If you don't have a thing, right, you haven't done the mountain climb, the TV, the whatever, then a book will absolutely help demonstrate that you have expertise. So that's where I think a book comes in the world of proving that you really are a subject matter expert or a thought leader. Is if you don't have something else to point to, a book is really good. And maybe you do have other things to point to, and a book just emphasizes it. It puts it into one place. So in that regard, yes, a book is good. I need to write a book because a book's going to launch my speaking career. No. Books are very useful in speaking. You can use them to enhance the value of when you speak. You can sell them to get value in when you speak. And if you have a really good book, that could create a speaking career for you. So if you're J.K. Rowling, people will invite you to speak because you've written a book, even if you've never spoken on a stage before, but you've written the book and people know your book. You look at somebody like Simon Sinek, right? Start with Why. Great book, but it wasn't just the book that launched his speaking career. It was a TED Talk that took off. It was the book, it was the concept, it was him getting out there and talking about this is why and having an amazing persona, and everything came together. I think if he had written the book but not done the TED Talk, the speaking wouldn't have taken off the same way. But there he was in front of millions, and this, Start with Why. That was the book. So a book can definitely enhance your platform. It's not necessary for your platform, but it does have a lot of good things to it. Now, back to getting to the book. If you write a lousy book, That's not going to help you. I've had people say, should I just AI something, Lee? I'll just throw a couple words in there, I'll bang out a book, publish it, and that will help me. No, a garbage book does not help you. A garbage book makes you look like garbage. So if you're going to write the book, write the book. Do a good job. Spend time on it. It's a lot of effort. A book is a lot of effort. Yes, AI can help you polish things, but it's going to take away your voice. Just understand, if you're going to go into it, you're not going to bang out something good really quickly. Good takes time. Alrighty, moving on. Bestseller status matters. So you've written the book. Does bestseller status matter? Yes and no. If someone tells me they are an Amazon bestseller, that's like saying, I don't know, I was breathing today. Amazon, I've heard people can become an Amazon bestseller by selling 25 books. Their categories are so minute that just by selling a handful of books, you can become an Amazon bestseller. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are an Amazon top 100 bookseller, that might be something worth bragging about, because that means you are selling a lot of books. New York Times bestseller? Yeah, that's a big deal. Wall Street Journal bestseller? Yeah, that's a big deal. Just saying a best-selling author, everyone says that. And please, if you have a bio and you lead with best-selling author, stick that in the back. Everybody leads with it. It doesn't mean much. So best-selling gives a little bit of credibility, but it's not the end-all. If you're not a bestseller, don't worry about it. I'd rather just have a great book. It doesn't have to be a best-selling book. Many books that have done really, really well weren't necessarily bestsellers out of the gate. So don't worry. Don't put too much weight on being a bestseller author. All right. I need a content-rich, complex site to increase my SEO. Website question. You do need a good website. There are a handful of speakers who don't have a website, but then they're on bureau sites, so people can go there. But I would say, yes, you need a good website. No, it shouldn't be complicated. The biggest comment and compliment I get on my website is it's simple to use. Everything's on one page. You don't make me search for things. I don't have to look for videos. Here's what you need on your website. You need good imagery that people understand that you're a speaker. A surprising number of speaker websites don't show the speaker speaking, so I have to guess that that's what they're talking about. You should definitely have video. Definitely have video. Sizzle reel is nice, not required, but nice to have, because people do get excited about good sizzle reels. You should have your bio, your topic, right? Those are the basic things when somebody hires you that they're going to want. The other thing you need is contact information. Talking to a lot of event planners and bureau agents, it is shocking the number of websites that don't have good contact information. Many of them have forms only. That is my major pet peeve, is when a person only has a form. Forms break. Links break. Forms are a pain sometimes because it's not asking the questions that I have the answers to, especially when there are required fields and I don't have the answer and I'm like, well, let me just make something up. I don't like forms. I had a speaker once who said that he was doing okay in the speaking world, and then suddenly he stopped getting leads, couldn't figure out why. Turned out his link was broken. Something had happened with like a Google update. For 3 months, he did not know why he was not getting leads. So those are the things you need. Do you need a lot of content for SEO? That was my original statement here, to the myth to bust. SEO is wonderful. I get emails, 10 times a day from companies that say, your SEO could be better. We could find your site. Well, obviously you found it because you sent me spam. But a lot of speakers, here's a secret for you. People are not searching for you if you're just starting out. And if they're not searching for you, they're probably not going to find you because you have great SEO. You know who, if you Google something, What's going to come up first are all the sponsored sites, people who are throwing money at their sites. Money trumps SEO. So don't worry so much about having this incredibly complex site. It's probably not going to help you. If you have good content in there that points to how you're an expert, maybe you have a podcast or a blog or vlog or whatever, maybe that will help you, because once people get there, they can see you're an expert. But don't go crazy throwing all this time and money into this complex site because all this stuff. No. Use your site as a living business card. When somebody inquiries about you, send them a link to your site. Have it on your business card. And I know business cards are old-fashioned. If you have a physical card, if you have an electronic card, or you have a LinkedIn site, however people get in touch with you, make sure there is a link to your website there so people can get there. They go there to learn about you. Don't make them search for you, and don't hope that they will find you on a search. You've got to help them get there. So the short answer to that myth is no, you don't need a super complex site with lots of SEO, not when you're starting out. That's not how people are going to find you. Make it a good site. Make it a clear site. Have really good, clear branding. Don't worry about the SEO. Responding too quickly to requests makes you look desperate, makes me look desperate. No, I'm just going to put a big stamp, boom, myth busted. Absolutely not. I make a huge effort to answer inquiries as quickly as I can. Sometimes it takes me 5 minutes, sometimes up to a couple hours, but my goal is to have everything out same day. And I have never, underline, never, ever had anyone say to me, wow, you responded so quickly, I think your speaker's desperate. Never. The immediate response I get is, thanks for answering so quickly. I get that response all the time. In speaking, speed matters. Because if someone is starting a search, and this is especially for emerging speakers, if you are Damon John, people are probably looking for Damon John. If you are Darren Jonas and no one's heard of you before, you need to be fast, because if they're looking for content versus a name versus celebrity, if they reached out to you and to 10 other speakers, which is very common, event planners will just start banging out requests to one speaker after another, you have to get there first, because if you get there first and they like you and you are the right person, you can get hired right away. If you wait and you're going to, be cool and not answer for a few days, somebody who got there faster might have already been hired. Even if you were a better fit, they enthralled the event planner and got there first. Getting there first will not always give you the gig, but it will definitely help you if somebody else, if somebody else gets there ahead of you and they're good and they hire them, well, you lost your chance. The other reason I think speed matters is because of your customer journey. Customers reach out to you, potential customers, when they're thinking of you. If I send an email or fill out a form or reach out to a speaker, it's because at that very moment, I'm thinking about hiring a speaker for a particular event or inquiring about a speaker. It's top of mind. If you can get back to them immediately, you're top of mind. That's what they're thinking about. So speed matters. No, getting back to somebody quickly does not make you look desperate. And even if you're a celebrity, I reached out to a famous basketball player, like really famous, and his people got back to me after a few days, and they said, he's got so many requests, like we can't get to all of them. We get to the ones that we think might be decent, and you've got to wait. You've got to wait. You've got to wait. Ouch. I mean, I understand if you're busy and it takes you time, but to tell me I'm unimportant, it takes time. Don't tell me I'm unimportant. And answering slowly tells people they're unimportant. All right, next question. Putting my email on my website will give me too much spam. I'm going to say that's a myth, because will you get spam? Absolutely. But you're going to get spam no matter what. And I personally get more spam on my form, because I have both things on my website. I have email address directly. I have form directly. I have my phone number posted. I get most responses, 90% of them, via email. I get a little, but not a lot of spam through email. I get very few responses through my form, and my form is available on every page. But I get more spam. I get daily spam through my form. And so interesting about phone calls. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I definitely get less spam through email, and I get many, many, many more requests through email. And my form's right there. People choose email. So I think if you've never tried putting your email address there, just try it. Just because testing it out myself, 9-to-1 more email requests than form completions. Here, no one uses, my next question, no one uses a phone anymore. I don't need to post my phone number. Yes and no. Do I get a lot of phone calls? No. Do I get interesting phone calls? Yes. Most of the phone calls I get are people who are movers and shakers, right? They're not messing around. They're just going, you picked up the phone. And people are blown away when I answer my phone, because I actually answer it whenever I possibly can. Oh my gosh, you answered my phone. That's going to help me because I need an answer right now. I'm going into a meeting in 10 minutes, Lee. I need an answer. They call me. And the people who call me are often high-level people. When I had the CFO of the Boston Red Sox reach out, when I had Gary Keller of Keller Williams reach out, et cetera, it was by phone. CEOs, high-level decision makers, still use phones. Maybe because they're my generation, slightly older, but I'm thinking it's because they expect an answer. They expect it now. They don't have the time to waste with back and forth. Email can be very time-consuming. They just pick up the phone and call. I suggest you answer that phone call because you never know who it's going to be. I've absolutely closed things when people have called me. I would never not answer my phone. So if you don't want to post your phone number, fine. I get very, very few spammy calls or spammy texts. Couple. I don't think any more than if it wasn't posted. But posting it there, I've taken and closed important deals on my phone. All right, onward to the next question. I shouldn't post videos because if they watch my videos, they no longer need me or they won't hire me. Myth busted. No, not true. The exact opposite is true. You need video out there. You should have a bunch of video out there. Ask any big movie star if they feel they've done too many movies and therefore they're not going to get hired. It's the opposite, right? People hire actors who are famous because they are bankable. The more people who know of them, have heard of them, the more famous they are, the more people who are going to go to the next movie. If they're hired to do an appearance, the more people are going to come because more people have heard of them. You need to get out of there. Not out of there. You need to get out there. People need to have heard of you. They need to have seen you, and videos helps with that. It shows your skill level. It gets you in front of people. It gives people a feel for your style. Video, video, video. You want video on your website. You want video on YouTube. Yes, you need video. And no, it's not going to deter anybody. I've yet to hear of anybody who goes, oh, today at our event with the 100 people we brought in, we're going to show a YouTube video. No, they don't do that. Even if they bring somebody in virtually, even pre-recorded virtually, they will do that over taking something free off the internet. Okay, next, another myth. No one uses one-sheets anymore, Lee. I don't need a one-sheet. You do need a one-sheet. It doesn't need to be the old-fashioned, quote-unquote, traditional one-sheet. You're not going to be mailing it to anybody. And you don't necessarily need a PDF, or maybe you do. You do need to have a concise place where people can get the information they need easily. That's a website, yes, but people are still searching on websites. You want a one-sheet, and maybe it is an electronic one-sheet, which has your headshot, your video link, your bio, your topics, maybe your books, contact information, on one sheet. It can be a PDF that you send to people. It's a great follow-up to phone calls or Zoom calls. When I meet with a client, 90% of the time I follow up immediately after the call with information. It is generally the same information I just gave them on the phone call. But here's the thing. You don't know who you're talking to. The person on the phone might be the decision maker. They might not be. Sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they lie. But regardless of who they are, send them a one sheet. Send them your one sheet web page. Send them a PDF. Send them something to help them make the decision to hire you, either as a reminder to them or to give to their teammates. But you want something concise all in one place that you can hand them that will help them hire you. So yes, you need a one sheet. LinkedIn is old school, not relevant. Myth. LinkedIn might be old, might be established. It is absolutely still where speakers get hired. If you have lots of social media out there, you're on Twitter, you're on or X or whatever, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn. What I have found with my speakers, and I have confirmed this with speaker after speaker I talk to, people might watch you or follow you or enjoy your stuff on Insta or wherever you have it. They hire you on LinkedIn. On all those other social medias, you are showing your brand. You are putting videos out there, information out there that makes people interested in you. But when you go to LinkedIn, they get to deep dive. They get to look into your history. They get to look at proof that you are a subject matter expert. It's one thing to say you're an expert. It's another thing to go to your LinkedIn and go, oh, you have a degree in that. You have books in that. You have taught that. You have been a CEO of a billion-dollar company, whatever. LinkedIn gives very strong information as to your credibility, and people will contact you on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is relevant. You do need to be there. It maybe if you're an influencer and you have a hot social that's what you're known for, people might reach out to you because you're known for that. Business speakers, LinkedIn. Okay, let's take a little shift here into performance and material. Practicing makes me look unnatural. If that is your feeling, go watch the podcast with Michael Port. If it's not posted yet, it's coming out soon, but watch for Michael Port. He's amazing, and he's going to explain why practicing makes you more natural, not less natural. If you practice a few times and you're feeling stiff and you're trying to memorize things, that's a bad thing. You need to practice until you've broken through that. 10 times will make you look unnatural. 100 times will make you look like an expert. 0 times makes you look like an amateur. So I often hire speakers for tiny gigs, people I haven't worked for or haven't worked with before. And the worst thing they can do is not be prepared. If I send them to a little gig, maybe it's not paying much, but it's a good entry-level thing, and they have not practiced the heck out of their keynote, and they come across as an amateur, I'm not working with them again. That is their chance. This is your chance. Maybe it's quote-unquote only, I'm quoting a lot, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just a Rotary or just a Chamber of Commerce. You should crush it. That's where you're going to start rolling. That's where you're going to get your referrals from. That's where you're going to get good video from. Practice, practice, practice. Look beautiful. Know what you're going to say. You should have practice so much that the words come naturally and flow beautifully, that you're not searching for, oh my gosh, what's the next thing I'm supposed to say? And it doesn't mean you have to follow a script. It means you really know your material. It also means you're going to move better in the space. And Michael Port will go into that as well. Your movements should make sense with your words. Watch an amateur speaker or not a very good speaker. They pace back and forth and back and forth. They don't use the space in a way that makes sense with the words they're using. If you see a pacer, it's somebody who's not practiced or not studied what they're doing. Next question. I should change my topic to one that is trending. I'm going to give this a kind of sort of. So no, your topic should absolutely be in an area where you're an expert. You shouldn't just pick a topic because it's popular right now and run with it, because you're going to sound like an idiot. You're not an expert there. I can tell you that right now, we're in, November of 2025, I'm recording this. AI is trending, right? Futurism is trending. Economics is trending. That doesn't mean you should start talking about economics, AI, and, digital training or whatnot. If that's not your area of expertise, don't worry about it. Stay in your lane, but maybe you could talk about as it relates to. Ramon Ray, fabulous speaker, one of his big keynotes is human connections in a digital world. He doesn't get out and talk about how to better use AI or what the latest trend is in AI, but he's AI adjacent. He talks about how important human connections are in an AI world. So it's still very searchable. If a group comes to me and says, Haley, we're looking for an AI speaker, having a topic that's AI adjacent makes it easier for me to say to them, I know you say you're looking for AI, but you are, but your audience is such and such. Are they all really going to become AI experts, or do they want to understand why human connections are so important in an AI world? What works for you? Oh, that is sort of related. So see how your topic is adjacent to trending, but don't just change to something that's trending because you think like you want to talk about that. It's just not going to work out. Some things that I can tell you are trending, which maybe, again, you should move toward, is more interactive programs. Even keynotes that are, purely a keynote in front of 1,000 people are becoming a little more interactive with the audience in a natural way. I look at Freddie Ravel, and again, Freddie will have a podcast with me coming up, so look for him. He uses music as a way to interact with the audience, and even if it's a huge audience, he'll still speak to one or two people. He will engage people. He will bring in the mission of the company that he's working for. So very interactive, but purely a keynote. I'm not saying do a workshop. Learn to connect with your audience. That's a very important thing. I'm calling it trending just because people are asking for it more, but I think it's something that all speakers should be able to do. All right. I should raise my price, or I should increase my price a certain percent each year. I have a whole podcast on pricing. And I know that there are many, many people out there who always talk about you should increase your price. You should increase your price. I don't know what your price is now. You should right size your price. You need to charge what you're worth. If you are emerging and you put a huge price on your presentation, why should people hire you? Your price does not show that you've got a lot of quality. Now, let me retract that. Price is definitely correlated with quality, right? If you buy a Rolex, it's a better watch than a Timex. It doesn't tell time better, but it's got more diamonds and gold. The gold's not going to fade on my Timex, right? The gold rubs off. It's not going to rub off your Rolex. So it insinuates that there's quality. But if you are an emerging speaker and you say, I'm going to charge $25,000 and your gold rubs off because you don't bring that quality, you're going to have a short career. Make sure that you right price yourself. If you're doing a great job and you're afraid to charge, well, then get yourself a speaking manager or bureau. They'll raise your price for you. I have raised the price on all my speakers, but only on those speakers who I feel are worth the price. I don't price them higher than their value. Understand your value. Look out there. What are other people charging? And this thing, I've heard this with some associations. Oh, you should raise your price 10% a year. Based on what? Price yourself on what you're worth. If you're worth more, my goodness, charge more. If you're not worth a certain price, don't charge that price because you're going to hurt yourself. So that's my long answer to a short question. No, you shouldn't necessarily raise it. No, there's not a certain percentage. But yes, you do need to study your price a lot and make sure you're charging a fair amount. Oh, should I itemize pricing? This is kind of old school. I know when I started in this industry that was very common, that speakers would send me price sheets. This is my keynote. This is my workshop. If I'm there for an extra 15 minutes, I charge extra. If you want me to stay overnight, that's extra. If you want a picture line, an autograph line, all these things are itemized. And then maybe to make me feel like I was going to save money or something, they'd itemize absolutely everything. And they'd say, the value is $50,000, but I'm only going to charge you $20,000. That's rather old school. I'm seeing very little of that, but I do see it annoy event planners. They go, just give me a price, Lee. In fact, I'm even moving away from adding travel. I'm starting to move toward single price. This is the fee. It includes travel. It includes the speaking fee. It includes them staying for 3 hours. They're going to do the autographs. They're going to do the pictures. It's all included. It's one price. There's no breakdown of that. And it's interesting how many times now that I've started doing that over the last, I haven't done this for more maybe than 6 months, how many people go, thank you. Thank you for just one price. Don't break it down for me. Just tell me how much it's going to cost. The only thing that I often add is a hotel room. And the reason I add the hotel room is that events often have a block of rooms. So it's difficult to come in from the outside and get into that block. And I don't want my speaker to have to stay down the street. They often have a special price and need to have a minimum of rooms filled anyway. I hardly ever get pushback on a hotel room. They go, oh yeah, of course. Like we have to have the hotel rooms anyway. So it's what I'm moving toward is one price. Don't break it down. The price is the price. If you want to have some division of price, you might have a keynote versus all day, something like that. But don't get granular. No one likes it. It doesn't make anyone feel special. No. Oh, sorry. I said it was going to be a little out of order. I need to update my headshots or my branding or my website. Yes, your website should be current, that it has a headshot that's from this decade. Every now and then I'll see a speaker headshot and I laugh because I'm going, that was when they were, half the age they are now. Have a headshot that when you walk into the room, people aren't going to ask where the speaker is. Your branding should reflect what the customer wants to see in you. So whatever your brand is, what people are looking for in you, your website should absolutely reflect that. But if you are rebranding your website every 6 months, again, I hear this a lot, I'm rebranding, something is amiss. Figure out your brand, make sure it reflects that, and now figure out how to get gigs. But changing your brand every 6 months is not going to get you gigs. Changing your headshot constantly, I have speakers that do that, I get a new headshot all the time, is not going to get you gigs. Maybe you're a model, then it will, right? That's who you are. That is your brand. But if your headshot is not your brand, just have a good one. Do other things. Do I need to update my website? Yeah, your website should be current. But again, if you're putting all your time and effort into your website, but no one's going to your website, it doesn't matter. You've got to get people there. Start doing outreach. Start going to events. Do more speaking. Speaking begets speaking. Do podcasts. Something. Do more than just constantly updating your website. If nobody gets there, it doesn't matter. Phew. Okay. I need an amazing sizzle reel. You know what? An amazing sizzle reel does sell. An impressive sizzle reel gets my attention. It gets other people's attention. But you can't stop there. People who've put on a lot of events will not just go by your sizzle reel. They're going to ask for speaker reel too. They're going to want to see you on stage because sizzle reel is your resume, right? It is your best moments put together into one little short piece, enhanced with music and colors and lights and words. It's a really good marketing piece, but it doesn't show you doing what you do. So, do you need an amazing sizzle reel? Yeah, a good sizzle reel don't spend $10,000 on your sizzle reel. A decent sizzle reel is really great to have. It's going to get attention and it's going to get the callback, right? The consideration put into the other heap. But you need more than that. You need a speaker reel that shows you on stage doing what you do. I will not hire anybody from just a sizzle reel or recommend them from just a sizzle reel. You also need speaker reel. I will recommend somebody who has a speaker reel and no sizzle reel. You don't need the sizzle. You need the steak. Alrighty. An agent will help me get gigs. Do I need an agent? If you're an emerging speaker, chances are you're not going to get an agent. If you do have an agent, it is not your agent's job to market you. Agents at bureaus are not cold calling places trying to get you gigs. That's not their job. Their job is to fulfill the needs of clients. Clients will say, I have an event coming up, I need a speaker, and it is their job to fill that. It is not their job to start your speaking career. So no, I don't think an agent's going to help you. An agent or a manager is going to help you when you already have traction. They will increase your value and they will get your name out there more, but you need to get that traction on your own. No one has a keynote like mine. No one is offering what I offer. Yeah, somebody's offering what you offer. You might be a magician, a painter, an artist, a musician. You might have won an Olympic gold medal. You might have climbed Mount Everest. So has somebody else. There are lots of athletes, lots of Olympic champions, lots of authors, lots of musicians, etc., etc., etc. Military, crashed the jet. Somebody else has done what you've done. Maybe very few people, maybe not as well, but you're not a one of a kind. You might be a slightly better version of something else that's out there. So please do not put all your eggs in the basket of there's no one like me. You need to be the best version of you if you want to get hired again and again, if you want to go to the top of the standings. A lot of people hire David Goggins. A lot of people hire Jocko Willix. There are a lot of other people out there who talk about being in the military, being tough, but they just do it really well. So they're not one of a kinds. They're the best of the kinds. That's why they're getting hired. Here's a good one. I am better than, put name here. I should be getting paid what they're getting paid. I should be getting paid more than they're getting paid. You might be a more skilled speaker, but when it comes right down to it, the highest paid speakers are celebrities. And it doesn't mean they're good speakers. It doesn't mean they are wowing the audience with their onstage prowess. It means they're wowing the audience because I've only ever seen them in the movies on TV and now they're in front of me. Wow. That's why their fees are so high. You probably are a better keynote speaker, but you're never going to make that fee. So don't judge other people's fees against yours and vice versa. Be worth what you're charging. Do your best. You'll get to charge more. Become more of a celebrity. Don't compare yourself with others who are not like you. You can compare yourself with others who are like you to make sure that you're in the right fee range, but don't go, wow, Arnold Schwarzenegger makes $1 million. I should make that because I'm a better speaker. Yeah, every keynote speaker is better than him. He sits there, takes a few questions, he's done, and he makes a mint. You're not him. You're not going to get paid what he gets paid. Just be the best you can be. I can speak to any audience. I'm not going to narrow my target market. That's ridiculous. I can talk to anybody. I've got a very broad topic. I am sure that you do have a broad topic that it would resonate with many people. It would be appropriate in front of any audience. However, people hire speakers who they feel will resonate with their audience, and it's more than the topic. It is your brand. It is who you are. There are many, 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 many speakers who speak on leadership. But if they feel an athlete will resonate with their audience, they're going to go with someone who's got an athletic brand. If they feel someone who's military is going to resonate with their audience, they're going to go with somebody with a military brand. If your brand is so vanilla that nobody can tell your background or where expertise comes from or what you're going to deliver, that's not going to help. Pick a lane. If you're afraid to really, really niche down, and that's actually what I recommend is when you're starting out as an emerging speaker, that you absolutely go after a particular market so your brand resonates and hits them between the eyes. If you're afraid to go too narrow, at least go somewhat narrow. Pick a lane. Pick your place of expertise. Focus on that. You're going to climb faster if you stand for something. All right, I'm going to stop there for today. So I have more questions, but I want to give you a break because I've been rattling on here for the last over 40 minutes, I think. But please send me your questions. I would love to bust more myths, answer more things, and definitely all the things that I've talked about today are going to be an individual podcast with experts who are going to really deep dive. But today was like a quick start. I hope you learned something. I hope you were able to make a tweak from it. See you next time. Thanks for listening to Path to the Main Stage. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And for full video episodes, check out YouTube. If you want to be a successful speaker, you need to make it happen. My co-hosts and I are here to help guide you. But if you need more help, please check out pathtothemainstage.com where we can connect. And until next time, keep sharing your voice, keep showing up, and keep taking your path to the main stage.